Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's time for our halftime show. Cool down a little bit after Team Liquid went out and tore up the Rift, and we are going to be playing the newly duo game. Magical, get that look off of your face.
No. I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's time for games. It's time for maybe fun as I pit you two against each other. Quick reminder for those watching, newly duo game. I'm going to be having Joshi answer Joshi answer questions about Magical, about the game, etc. to see how well they know each other. We did this yesterday, and I believe it was 2-6.
Yeah.
2 out of 6 correct that Magical got about Joshi. So we'll see if Joshi is a better friend / caster, how that all shakes up. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
We'll see. It's hard to get into Magical's head, but I'll do my best.
Sure. We're starting it off easy just for that exact reason. I like that you said that. To start things off, between these two teams, Team Liquid, Dignitas, Magical's favorite player.
Favorite player?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's a tougher one than I was kind of expecting it to be, because I know he's a big
for
fan
the
of
two
a lot
teams.
of
For the two
players.
teams, right?
Yeah.
For the two teams, yeah. We're focusing on our matchup.
Oh. I think it's actually going to be Insanity. Is I think his favorite player between the two teams.
All right, Magical. Let's see.
Bradley.
Bradley. Oh, I wasn't
Yeah.
even close.
No.
Okay.
I really like Bradley. He's a good kid.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw Eric. He was going to take Bradley to Thanksgiving, and now he's your favorite player between the two teams. All right, I'll see.
I've liked Bradley since we did the Taskmaster thing last split. I think Bradley's just a fun person to be around. Then I also got to have him on in the lab. He's just a great person all around. Plus, I think he's a fantastic player, and I think has a bright future.
Oh, that was surprisingly wholesome.
You get one of them for me. Just one.
All right. I'm trying to bring out a little bit of that toxic side. Our second question, why was Magical so wrong about his prediction of how that game was going to happen? In Magical's opinion, of course.
Why does Magical think he's wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So
That's a
wrong.
Tough one. Okay. Why does Magical think
you
he's wrong?
gotta give him a second to write it down.
Yeah. Okay, he's taking a while to write it down, so...
Done.
Okay.
All right.
I think I know why Magical feels he's wrong. I think Magical thinks he's wrong because, Dignitas just didn't show up. Dignitas weren't ready to play. They were still asleep, they still had people not at the wheel, and they were waiting for Game 2 in order to unleash their full power.
Okay. Let's see it. Honestly,
So I will actually give Josh that point. He pretty much yeah because I'm saying Dig trolled me, but it's like they're just waiting for the next game. Yeah I'd give him a point.
No, I definitely agree with that. It was phrased a little differently, but I think the same sentiment is there. I think you just put your little Magical spin on it. So.
Yes.
There you go.
Great. 50% so far. All right. So for our third question, what does Dignitas need to change to win the second game beyond just showing up? Magical, I'm looking at you.
I know the answer already.
Okay.
I'm waiting for him to write it down so I can say it out
All right,
loud.
I already know what it is, so say it out loud so I can show it quickly.
Banzeri.
Hey yo.
Very
Simple.
quick, 2 words. Jan has looked ridiculous on all 3 games. Even on the one where he was kind of inting the early game, he still managed to have a fantastic rest of the game, and this was exactly the same thing. So you got to take him off as most comfortable champion, one of the strongest marksmen on the patch, and he's been known to play this for a long time.
All right. Maybe that's the one I should have led with if I was trying to get an easy question to start it off.
That one's easy. It's like, Banzeri. I was saying it in the cast. I've said it before. We'll say it now. Banzeri.
All right. Next question. What, according to Magical, was the best play of the game?
The best play of the game. The best play. Not his favorite play, the best play.
Best
Okay.
play.
Okay. I think I'm ready.
All right, go for it. I've already written mine down.
I think it's the fight where Jan gets rooted at the beginning, but Ayla crucially catches Insanity with the hostile takeover, saving Jan's life and allowing him to get bailed out.
That was a good one. That was a really good one, but I think the most pivotal one was this.
Level 1 invade. Okay, that was my second guess. Dang it.
Because
I gotta go for the shenaniganeries.
But that set the tone for the whole game. That's the only reason. Like, yeah, sure, it's not necessarily going to be what normal people would consider the best, but it set up where Arameo was able to get this control early on XU. XU couldn't impact the lanes like he'd wanted to, or even he tried visiting bot lane, got the flashes and flash and heal out of Jan, but never could revisit it because he was still struggling to keep up pace.
And we did talk at the beginning as well, Joshi. You said it, that you thought whoever got the first blood was just going to set the pace, and that was who was ultimately going to win the game. And I mean, that was kind of their stamp to victory right there. So,
yeah,
all right,
that's
well, we're
definitely
at least
what we saw.
Yeah, we're at least 2 out of 4, and we got 2 more questions. All right.
Not doing bad.
Next up, Magical's hottest take about Team Liquid.
That's so general. Oh my god. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Magical's hottest take about Team Liquid. Now, there's lots of good players. On
Don't spoil it yet. You can think out loud, but don't spoil it. There's no cheating allowed.
Okay. All right. I won't try and incept ideas into Magical's head for him as I start thinking out.
All right. So I got it.
All right.
Okay. I think Magical's hottest take about Team Liquid is that Bradley is going to LCS next year.
You're close, but it has to do with the LCS, but...
Okay.
I think that they... I think how they perform, I honestly think that they would have a chance at getting top 4 in LCS. I think they're that good.
I think they could fight for it. I think that we have, like, 4 teams that I'm really excited about going into LCS, and so top 4 is a little bit above. That's why it's a hot take, right? I think it's a reasonable take that they'd be mid-tier,
it's a hot take. That's the reason why I'm like, okay, because I think any take would just put them in, like, a top, doing well in the LCS. But I think with how they've been performing recently, even looking to spring, I think they have what it takes to get top 4.
All right, well, last question here. Who would Magical, out of these 2 players on these 2 teams, would like to take out on a nice river cruise to go look at all the ducks? And you're not allowed to say Bradley, because I know that you think Bradley's a nice boy. He's not allowed to say
Bradley, or I'm not allowed to say Bradley?
I mean, he's not allowed to, so, like, it would be a throw if you want to guess that.
So, accepting Bradley.
Except for Bradley, because Magical already said he's a nice boy, and that might be a little too easy.
Little too easy. So I'm going to go look at the ducks with.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a hard one.
This is a hard one.
Would it have been Bradley?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It would have been Bradley.
Oh yeah. It would have been Bradley. You know what? I'm gonna go with an unusual one. So that'll be my one hint to you. That'll be my one hint to you.
Okay. My guess here as to who Magical would want to go on a river cruise to see the ducks with, if you can't take Bradley, it's going to be Spawn. The player, not the coach.
Tony Top.
Tony Top. Okay.
Because I feel like he deserves it. Because the reason that's why I said it's going to be an unusual one. But I think that he's a player who I felt should have remained in Academy. The fact that he's only a temp sub, I think, is a travesty. And so I'd take him to see the duck on a river cruise because I'd be like, "Yo, dude, you still got what it takes to get to Academy. Let's enjoy the split off, and I'll see you next year."
Aw, that's a wholesome way to end things off, even if ended up just being 2 out of 6 correct on it. But I feel like this was productive. I feel like we got to learn a lot about each other for this. And maybe if we play Newlywed Duo with you 2 way later on in the split, we might get a little bit of a better result. Maybe. But time to talk about the game again and how this could go headed into game 2 here, because we had some thoughts about how things would end up. We thought there'd be a lot of kills, but it was really one-sided in who these kills were going for, Joshi.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting Team Liquid to be favored going into this, but I feel like they really set the tone right off the bat, right? Magical already called it out. The level 1 invade, something that they were able to do on the opposite side of the map. The fact that Team Liquid are now kind of following in what Immortals were doing, where they were looking for advantages starting at level 1, is very, very impressive. They've shown already a couple different ways that they're willing to do it. And now, as they show even more of them, they will have more ways to play, more things in the toolbox that they can pull out at a moment's notice whenever the time calls for it.
Also, I just realized in that play, XU tried to use the cheeky Hextech Portal Smite that you can get off because you can actually still use Smite while you're using the Hextech Portals.
Yep, I mean, he's good at 50-50 smites. Like, if he can get into the pit, he wins a crazy number of them. Fortunately, he didn't do it in time, but I respect the attempt. You need to do something crazy.
Oh, yeah,
Team Liquid don't know that.
The game was over even if you got it, to be honest. The game was over even if he stole it, let's be honest. This game,
yeah,
it was pretty much Team Liquid's to lose. They gained control from level 1. Bradley was put in the perfect position as Olaf to always have control over Tony Top. So Tony Top essentially didn't even get a play of the game. Then you look at how the rest of the lanes went, where it looked like they could have made a play bot lane for XU on to Yon, but they only got the one time that it really worked out, getting the flash and heal, and then never really having a chance after that because they're too far behind elsewhere.
Well, guys, it's time to head into the champ select now. See if Dignitas can switch a couple of things up. Most importantly, getting that Zeri out of the way, off of the board, not even let it through, and maybe we'll have a fight on our hands. I'll see you two later.
We'll see. I really want this Zeri to be banned, like Sierra's calling out. I don't want to see it. Get it off. Stop letting Team Liquid have this. If you're going to not ban it, pick it for yourselves first. There's so many reasons why not to let Yon play this. Well, yes, they've got more styles they can obviously fall back to. Another thing that I didn't want to see is that Volibear for Armeo. He's been piloting that just as well. So seeing those bans, seeing some targeted bans to Bradley, to Armeo, and I'm hoping to Yon are great changes from Dignitas.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this, but I winced a little bit when I saw the Gangplank banned out by Dignitas, right? We've seen Tony Top play 3 champions prior to today. It was Camille, Gangplank, and Jax. And the Jax is getting banned away by Team Liquid. They're probably going to ban the Camille away as well because Tony Top on the Wukong just didn't look ready, right? Bradley just took total control.
He got a free early kill. Thank God. There's that Zeri ban. But Bradley was gifted a first blood right out of the gate, so it wasn't like Tony Top got a fair shake.
Yeah, but you also got counterpick, right? Like, if you're going to be taking counterpick into something, you need to be able to have more than an 80 CS deficit, right? It's a situation where I feel like Tony Top, while I do think he should still have an opportunity to play in Academy, definitely looked like he was getting beasted on by Bradley. We didn't really get to see, like, how the lane actually shook out, but we do have a lot of changes coming through as the Kalista comes through this time for Spawn.
We've seen a lot of Kalista bans, too, from the side of Team Liquid primarily, not to let this go into others' hands. So seeing that the Kalista has been drafted, while obviously there are certain styles that have been left open, like the Carmel Lulu, still wide open for the taking for Team Liquid, even Yuumi if they want to go for like an Ezreal Yuumi bot lane. It's really, the thing that we tend to see is that Kalista-Renata combo, and that's hard to combat against.
Yeah, but the Ezreal Karma has a lot of early game pressure as well. It's something that Team Liquid has piloted to great success, and we know that they're willing to play the Ezreal Renata. They're willing to take away the other half of the composition that Dignitas is looking to pick up here with the Kalista. But instead, going back to tried and true, looks like Team Liquid in total control. And if you're opting into a skill matchup, a high variance matchup going into Team Liquid, you better be ready to fight. Spawn and JJ cannot be scared even after what happened in Game 1.
No, they have to be looking to rumble right out of the gates. They got to get control over Yon and Ayla because we know what happens when they get out of control. And so with the Kalista and Renata, good team fight capabilities on their side, as well as an ability to fight in lane, but they got to make sure that they are playing carefully, cautiously, while also looking for those advantages.
Yeah, and so I really want to look at JJ and Mama Bear in this lane to look to set things up, right? Because last game it was Spawn constantly finding these routes in order to put Yon in uncomfortable positions. Now Spawn doesn't have the same kind of crowd control. It's going to be mostly reliant on JJ finding the handshakes, moving Yon around, and it's a tough ask going up against the Ezreal, but it is something that we have to be ready to go. And as the Wukong gets locked in for Dignitas, we know that XU has played it. We did see Tony Top just play it last game, so it's flexible between the two sides, but it means that Team Liquid, they kind of have the pick of the litter if they do want to grab the Fiora that Dignitas was hovering.
Well, see, this is where I think even if you grab the Fiora, there are some ways that Tony Top can play around that. The fact that this Wukong is not guaranteed to go into the top lane, so why not better just make sure that there's not going to be the Viego taken by the side of Dignitas flexing the Wukong into the top lane. Deny that from XU as a whole since you don't have your nice counter pick of Volibear.
Yeah, Viego is quite strong as well. Armeo has played this. It's been one of XU's most commonly played so far this split. We know he likes to play this champion, so there's still a lot of play. Like, on the draft alone, I like what Dignitas has put up so far. They have a very aggressive bottom lane. They have an aggressive jungler or potential top laner that they can play around. As we get into the second half of the draft, now they need to show that they can also stand up in the mid lane and the top lane, which while they were quieter, were still being won by Team Liquid.
Yeah, now we're seeing a little bit of mid lane focus coming in from the side of Team Liquid this time around. Probably even feeling that the Wukong is top lane, so they don't want to ban out too many top laners and have forced the Wukong up there. So they're just taking away some of the picks from Insanity. Taking away that Twisted Fate while Azir is banned out by Dignitas. A bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, typically we know that Insanity has some pocket picks that he likes playing into these years. The Vel'Koz foremost among them, but the Viger also something that he's been known to bring out. I'm a little bit surprised he feels threatened by it at this point, and with the Twisted Fate ban, I feel like Insanity's pool is going to get really pinched at this point as the Jace ban is
I wonder.
towards Tony.
They banned Ahri last time, and I'm almost wondering if they let the Ahri through so that it gets picked here by Harry and they get that Viger counter matchup.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense if Insanity wants to go for that, right? It is a decent matchup. You have a lot of battlefield control, but I'm not sure it fits the rest of the identity of what Dignitas is trying to do, right? You have three champions who are looking to be very far forward in the fight, and Viger can't always keep up with them. And as the Olaf is picked up once again for Bradley, we'll see what Dignitas wants to play into it. If they take the Wukong matchup again, you know, it'll probably go a little bit better because Bradley probably won't get the first blood, but Bradley, I mean, as his laning has improved, he has really beasted on everyone.
It all comes down to these picks here, whether or not XU is going to play the Wukong or if it's going to be Tony Top. I know you're oohing and ahhing on this pick. It would be an interesting one. Whoa!
Oh, Yorick! Somebody call Ravishing Ravish. His main is finally coming back into the game. This is a pick we haven't seen in a long time, but it has the guaranteed terrain creation that Olaf can't run out of. He needs to take the flash to get over it, or he needs to auto attack it twice. And so this is a really cool counter pick from Tony Top that we haven't seen from anybody play in such a long time.
Right, that's the thing that baffles me. And then Insanity onto LeBlanc as well. We got some fire being put down by the side of Dignitas.
Yeah, this is some pretty nutty stuff. I'm actually looking the last time. Okay, in 2021, we actually saw that Yorick was picked 6 times worldwide and won none of them. But as we start looking towards this time, this is going to be the first time it's picked in 2022, and going up into the Olaf. This is something spicy that Tony Top has to have prepared. I can't imagine that they've been scrimming with this a whole lot, but this is when your top laner says, give me this counter pick, I'll carry the game, don't worry about it. And as Dignitas, you have to trust him. You have to trust that he's going to take this matchup and suddenly become the main character of the game and take over everything, because if he doesn't, the rest of the map is not looking particularly hot. Like, their draft is fine, but Team Liquid has been winning every skill check so far.
Josh, be honest with me. When was the last time you casted a Yorick game?
In professional, like, probably never, actually.
I know I've casted it before, but that was way long ago, like long ago. It's been some years since I've last seen this champion actually be picked up, and to have it for Tony Top, this is one hell of a statement. I was talking about how he's got a lot to prove. He wants to show that he's still worthy of being an academy, and you know what? Getting the York counter pick here into Olaf, That is a great way to do so as we go into our second game of this best of 2 between Dignitas Academy and Team Liquid Academy, who got that first victory over Dignitas in the first game.
30 seconds until
And we'll see how well it actually plays. Now, I do know that Yorick was a bit of a popular pick in a captain's draft tournament I played about a year and a half ago at this point, where we actually just had like 4 players who were all just happened to be Yorick players, right?
Wow.
And so it was really warping on like the way that drafts were working, because nobody, everybody played Yorick, but nobody really had prepared counter picks to Yorick, because why would you, right? Like, why would you have things that are naturally good into Yorick? It doesn't see play hardly at all. And so this is a situation where historically, the Yorick is able to tussle because he can choose his fights. He can just prevent Bradley from getting in.
And it's with the Ignite too. Tony Top pretty much saying that he wants to get these early kills. Look at Bradley. Last time he had Ignite and Ghost. This time it's Teleport and Flash. He's a little worried about what Tony... I think it's just one of those things. It's one of those pauses. Then it says that he's not actually disconnected. We already got through it all, so don't worry, Josh.
We're good. Just gotta be careful about the mental. Now, one of the things to know is, like, in solo queue, this pick is actually really, really good into Olaf top, right? I just looked it up. It's rocking like a 54% win rate in high elo, and it just gets better the higher you go. So it has a lot of control, and it feels like they're really stifling, but they're also winning this level 1.
Yeah, look at the bot lane. The flash in, the Ignite.
I lied.
Sure that Ayla gets the turnaround. So you are wrong, Josh. It is Team Liquid coming out on top.
Okay, well, I like what Dignitas are doing, right? We said they had to not be afraid. They were winning a lot of the bottom lane interactions in Game 1, but in Game 2, it's Team Liquid. They win the skill check. They just have the damage, and as Jan's passive stacks up, he has the attack speed to override the crazy play coming through from Kalista and Renata. But this is just a big play where we get to see, as soon as Spawn starts running, there's no hope for the fight.
No.
You need to make sure you get every little bit of damage off at the same time because of the crazy focus they had.
Chains connected onto Harry in the mid lane. A lot of damage put down by the decoy. Harry is going to be forced to recall. Also has already lost his flash. It is a nice lane for XU to revisit, but he's got to make sure that he stems some of the bleeding from bot lane first.
Yeah, and as a Victor player, you know that as soon as you lose your flash in this matchup, it becomes a lot tougher. Because LeBlanc has so much control over Victor early on in the game. Victor's like levels 5 through 9 are very dependent on how well he does in levels 1 through 3. And now that he's a little bit behind the curve, now that he's down and with no flash, he's not likely to get the early game plays that he needs to do in order to get these evolutions.
So, Josh, I did a little bit of research to see when the last time York was played professionally. It actually was fairly recently. It was in the LJL. It was Evie playing that top lane into Kennen, and he did win that matchup.
Are you talking about, like, professional play?
Yeah,
because, like, what year was
Evie.
that?
This year. It was March 23rd, 2022.
Huh, that's not showing up on GOL, but I believe
I mean,
you.
I
It's the kind of
also
weird
looked
thing
up.
that Eddie
I
loves
looked
to
up
do.
straight up just York. I tried to find out when he was played. So that's the reason why. And it was also in the LJL, which oftentimes you have. But right now, Tony Top looks like he's in a bad spot, but gets the flash out of Bradley early. Oh no! You flashed into it. Tony Top still has to worry about that. The flash in. XU hero saving Tony Top's life.
Oh my gosh, it looked so good for Bradley, but we gotta give a little over to Armeo. He flashes right on into the cage, and he's like, wait.
Someone alert
What
Cubby.
do I do now?
Let him know. Let him
Someone
know what
alert
just
Cubby.
happened. Yep. You won't be
Yeah,
happy
but that
about
was a good play coming out from XU, right between Tony and XU. They turn around some of the misfortunes they had earlier on in the game, but now we get to see the arms race. The York going up against the Olaf.
Yeah, with a kill, too? This is not going to be pretty for Bradley, especially in a fight
He's on
where...
Immortals.
Huh?
He's
Bradley?
on Immortals. No, pretty.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe you've done this. I was making an intellectual point, and then you do that. Now we gotta look top lane, so I don't even get to make my point.
Yeah, yeah. thank you, observers, for just being like, what's going on here? But this is a good play from XU, recognizing the fighting is going on and being willing to instantly commit to the play.
Ooh.
If Armeo had gone the other way or had not flashed into the cage, I think that still goes to Team Liquid, but
it does.
That's one of those small things that you look back on and you're just like, well, Armeo knew better at the moment, he knew better later, so you can't really like review. It's just like, yeah, I screwed up.
All right, a little bit of skirmishing in the mid lane. But I also do want to give Armeo a little bit of credit. I know we keep going back and dwelling in the past, but who knows how to play against... Who knows how to play against York? When's the last time you've ever had to deal with that?
Yeah, it's been quite a while. You don't see it particularly often in like Challenger solo queue or in Champions queue. So, you know, we can give him a little bit of slack for how well he's played the rest of his games. But we also know Tony Top is going to have a fantastic situation to lane, and Harry, he's actually turned around some of his misfortunes as well, because Insanity roamed up to try and help with the play as he uses the ult to get the wave in. He buys himself a back timer, and this could be an opportunity once he gets back for Team Liquid to try and play for the first dragon.
Well, this is the matchup they chose, the Victor into LeBlanc, for pretty much that reason. Victor is a little susceptible to getting dove on, but he also is something that is effective with wave clear, punishing anybody who steps out of lane for any amount of time, aka a LeBlanc. And he's getting these advantages slowly but surely, making sure that he keeps crashing minion waves into the turret of Insanity so that Insanity can't really roam around.
And also, he definitely mind game Insanity by walking back. He ends up getting another wave into the turret, and this is something that Harry does quite often in order to build up these CS leads. He fakes backing. He fakes leaving the lane so that his opponents aren't ready to actually play, and it's part of why he finds so many of these CS leads that we always praise him for. But because of that, they choose not to play for the Dragon, instead just playing for individual lane advantages, and despite the 1-1 score, Team Liquid are still ahead 1,000 gold.
Well, I mean, now we're seeing Bradley just get a little bit of an advantage, utilizing the undertows to constantly shove in the minion waves against Tony Top, who's playing cautiously, not wanting to overstep just yet, especially because he keeps eating those axes to the face.
And we have to remember that just because this Olaf is, you know, one interaction is really good for the York, if Bradley just never opts into fights and just commits to pushing waves over and over, it doesn't mean that Tony Top gets to do a whole lot. Even as XU comes top, Bradley's level 6. Watch for
Armeo
the cage.
is nearby, too. That's going to be the big thing, is that Armeo is in the wings. They have no vision on where... Oh, yeah, they did, actually. Right as I was about to say, they had no vision on XU. Peeks out a little bit too far, so now they know full well the Monkey King was looking for a play top lane. With the cage put down on top, Bradley even calling in the Maiden of the Mist to get a little bit of damage onto Bradley. It's going to be Armeo trying to reset with the cyclone. He's going to force it away instead. A lot of damage burned on both sides. Had some ult, some flashes, and mid lane even using the same.
I'm a little bit surprised that Team Liquid opted into that fight, even knowing that XU was there, but the ultimate trades coming through means that XU is going to be much less effective, right? He doesn't have the Cyclone for a potential Rift Herald play, but Harry still has his flash.
Still has his flash. Oh, no, now he doesn't. Now he doesn't have that flash.
Nope. Spoke too soon.
Yeah, you did, and now
Can't believe
XU.
they've done this.
I can't believe they've done this, but XU, he's in a position to see if Harry oversteps looking for that kill on Insanity. He might just get punished, but at the entire time this was happening, you saw that Armeo tried to sneak into the river to get a little bit of control, but feared the fact that XU wasn't spotted.
Yeah. We also know that, you know, XU, as much as I love him, he kind of plays like a rat, right? He will sit in bushes for forever. He will give up so much time on his camps in order to make these plays happen. And the cage is down. Does Bradley want this?
He wants to get a bit of trade, but it's hard with the Maiden there as well. Starting to get that debuff onto Bradley so that Tony Top can do even more damage.
Yeah. Okay. As they do back out, Bradley does have enough control, and Armeo looks to be starting up the Rift Herald. Ayla moving up, and it's the classic Team Liquid play, right? Ayla is here, Yan is not. Yan will continue farming in the bottom side of the map while Team Liquid play for this. This is something they've been doing for 2 years at this point, and it's like nice to see that not everything has changed about them.
Oh, but right now we got a little bit of action. It's a party up the top side. 4 members from Team Liquid making sure they secure the Eye of the Rift Herald, while Tony Top has got to play towards his turret. Can't make sure that minion wave crashes. Bradley's got a nice freeze going off, and that's something that Team Liquid could use to punish the fact that Tony Top on York is fairly immobile.
True. At the same time, we have to give some credit where it is due. Spawn and JJ are beating Jan and Ayla in the bottom side of the map. The CS lead, while small, is there despite giving over that first kill. And so, while Callista and Renata are mostly well known for their ability to play the lane, they're pretty good in some of these early game team fights. And because the first dragon hasn't gotten picked up yet, Dignitas should feel fairly comfortable going for these fights as Jan runs himself out of mana.
We run out of mana, but Ayla here to save the day yet again, making sure that his ADC will be perfectly fine.
For now, yeah, they do have to be careful. XU is waiting in the wings, and Jan doesn't have a whole lot of tools available.
No, but he still has his flash and heal. They came back up from that level 1 skirmish prior. He's got safety built in, and now eating some of the honey fruit can look to poke down and whittle down the health bars of Dignitas as they make their escape.
Yeah, and no team still playing for the dragon just quite yet as another cage goes wide. Bradley able to dodge out of that one, but it feels like both teams are just kind of testing each other. Team Liquid, we know that they go for a lot of fights, but that doesn't mean they're uncomfortable playing later in the game. Look at the fact that Harry is up 30 CS over Insanity.
But now XU looks like he's caught out, forced to use the ult defensively, but instead then turns his attention on Harry with that hostile takeover. He will still fall, or will he? Yes, he will. The bailout not enough to make sure that he can survive, but the trade of jungler for mid laner could be beneficial for Dignitas if they can run out Armeo.
Yeah, Armeo does have to use the Heartbreaker over the wall, will be clearing out his camps, but that's pretty big, right? Insanity was really falling behind. Giving him that kill will allow him to be more threatening later on. We've seen shades of it, right? We were looking at Pretty's LeBlanc previously, able to take down Luger in one of the games that Immortals was able to win. But this play, it looks like Team Liquid have control, but they underestimate how quickly Dignitas can turn on a single member. Harry comes just a little bit too close with no flash, and once that happens, Insanity, XU, they see their target, they recognize they're too far forward, and that's what Team Liquid normally do to other teams, and Dignitas does it to them.
Well, this is what I was expecting from the first game, to be honest, between these two squads. I expected it to be more back and forth on a knife's edge. While Team Liquid does still remain in the gold lead, they've given up some advantages in these side lanes, in the solo laners of Dignitas that now can be utilized to threaten the other members of Team Liquid.
Exactly. I mean, we are starting to see Spawn and JJ, they really have to make their presence felt in the next couple of minutes before Ezreal starts hitting that 2-item spike, right? Jan is almost done with the Trinity Force. Spawn doesn't quite yet have his Mythic, and that's going to be putting Jan and Ayla in a spot where they can play at a greater range, they can play with greater efficacy than Spawn will be able to, and as these trades continue going through, as both sides show they're willing to fight, it hasn't materialized yet into a whole lot for Dignitas, and their window is starting to close.
But I will say, keep in mind that even if it seems like the late game favors that of Team Liquid, this mid game is the territory of Dignitas. Having a LeBlanc, having Callista, who's great at utilizing Rend stacks as a secondary smite to secure neutral objectives, it means that Team Liquid always have to be proactive. They have to be the first ones on the call on to objectives such as this dragon. And while they secure that one, I thought there was going to be a fight afterwards. Dignitas bail.
Yeah, I like the fact that Team Liquid not opting into it. As Dignitas, they try and take control. XU goes for the 50-50, not quite able to get it this time around though. But one of the things that we've been seeing a fair amount from Dignitas is in their wins, they will go for things like this Callista, like the Lucian, things that will find them early game power, and Spawn is able to take those advantages when he finds them and finds a lot of wins for them. But this is a game where that hasn't happened, and so the rest of the map is starting to take more control, and we see Bradley's up 20 CS, Armeo is up 40, Harry's up 20 as well, and so I feel like this always happens when we watch Team Liquid games. Magical, we see that despite the fact that the game looks even, yeah, they're in control, and they're up 2k gold.
Well, this is why we see an attempt to play in the bot lane. Hostile takeover. It will catch one, it will catch two, but they got to safety.
And it only gets Ayla's flash after 2 ultimates are expended. They also use the heal, so Team Liquid, that's totally fine by them. That's one of the big windows that Dignitas had to try and make things happen, but XU just a little bit too far, not quite coordinated, and because he shows, Tony becomes at risk.
Tony
They're the same
will
level.
fight a bit against Armeo, but even if they're the same level, Armeo understands that when the Maiden of the Mist is up, that's when Tony Top is at his most powerful. It's essentially like he's at level 12 and not level 10.
True, and Bradley now a level up. You know, does still have to be careful. If Tony Top finds a favorable fight, Bradley will have to flash if the cage does go down. But as we start looking, I feel like Dignitas are much happier. I mean, I guess that's an obvious statement to make, right? They are much happier in this game than the previous game where they were down 8,000 gold at this point. But the players that I'm really looking at are still Insanity, right? He has the tools necessary to start looking for Harry and Jan in these extended dances around upcoming objectives. And because he has that kill, because that Luden's completed and everybody on Team Liquid is squishy, he's going to be able to start looking for a lot of these picks. So if Dignitas can set up a vision for him, he can do this to people. Well, that's a bad example, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was no damage at all. The shield was enough to thwart anything from Insanity. And to me, I get that Dignitas, you know, they have ways to get back into this game, try to gain control. But when you look at how they have a deficit still, they have to make plays like this work. They have to make sure they kill Jan, but without the minions, they're not comfortable. They're not confident in calling for that play, despite the fact that Armeo is on the other side of the map.
And oh no, they don't even get the Gromp. XU's been struggling so far. Okay, you've already used the clone, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work twice. It's not Earth. It's not Earth where you can have that work multiple times. And there, JJ's just getting peppered by Jan on his way out.
Yeah, we are starting to see the damage coming through from Insanity though, right? Level 11 has the second part of the ultimate, but Armeo feels like we're just jockeying for a position.
Right. It's jockeying for a position around the bottom half of the map. They've left top lane as an island. It's completely, that was funny, but it's completely an island. Here we look, and this is where the problems for Dignitas start to really come into effect. You called out that massive lead that Armeo has in terms of minions, and it's allowed him this full control of XU. He's still only level 9 compared to Armeo, who's level 10 and probably going to crust that 11 at any time.
He gets that level 11, the level 2 ultimate really allows him to be scary, but as this game goes longer and longer, as this game goes longer and longer, I feel like Team Liquid just are very happy with the state of the game. Now, it's not the same kind of fighting that we've been so excited about this whole season, but we know that they were the team that was, every time a game would go long, they would come out on top. They would be the ones who were able to play with the range. They understood the discipline, and they don't need to go all in on a fight. They can poke and prod, waiting for people to blow flashes, to blow ultimates, and then look to punish them.
They're more than comfortable just playing the long game. This is always their secondary, their backup plan. So if the first plan of just getting these massive leads early, snowballing out of control doesn't always work, they're already set up. And while I said, yeah, the mid game is the territory of Dignitas, you still have the scaling. You can see the damage coming in from someone like Harry as Insanity tries to jump in. But it's more like Harry is now the assassin, not LeBlanc.
And with only 10 seconds left until this Dragon, Team Liquid have control of the mid lane. They're going to be able to get to the Dragon first. Armeo walks in, and he still has the Rift Herald as well. So if they want to drop that, they have a lot of control.
Oh, but the handshake onto Armeo, the flash in, and that's a Cyclone. Harry is low, but he's not out of this fight just yet. He's flashed away from spawn, and now Armeo is in danger. They get the pace call, and they got the ult coming in from Renata, but now it's the type of fight coming in from flash away, but he just gets pulled back. Nayla is fighting against Tony Top this entire time. They've got one kill for Jan. He's got a lot of low health targets on Dignitas so they can start peppering with those mystic shots, but without Bradley, their big front line is looking a little dire, especially because Tony Top is now taking the attention away from Jan, who jumps forward, puts up the wall, the flash in. Tony Top, he's killed by the auto attack of Ayla.
Jan still has plenty of mana to do this. He steals another camp away from XU, despite the fact that Team Liquid lost more members. They are in control of the river still, and Jan, okay, I thought he was going to just hop the wall right into XU, but it feels like we're seeing what makes both teams so great at League of Legends, right? XU, he has the killer instinct. He's ready to go for the targets that he's looking for. And just take a look at the replay. Notice how he uses Armeo in order to get to Harry. He gets the armor shred and almost takes him down and puts Harry in an impossible situation. Can he go down? No. Spawn is there. So he has to run away, and it puts them in a choke point where Dignitas have more members. They respawn faster. But Team Liquid, they have discipline. Yon in particular has really been feeling himself, and as he looks for the targets that he can, it's just so easy for him to play at range once all the tools are down. This is when AD carries come into their own, and range becomes the best stat in League of Legends. Yon knows how to exploit it, and even though Ayla's the one credited with the kill against Tony, it feels like Yon is doing all the damage.
I will say, though, that was a nice flashy play from our support of Team Liquid Academy. The fact that he flashed forward aggressively, as you should, and got the kills, as you should as a support, always wins my heart.
And they also managed to pick up the Dragon. And so Harry now in a position where he feels comfortable splitting up against the Yorick. And when you have two champions who can actually split against Yorick because they're strong enough, the Yorick becomes way less appealing as a champion, right? You need to be able to have at least one lane that you can push with impunity. But Team Liquid can play the 1-3-1. How do you engage on Ezreal Karma as, you know, Wukong, Kalista, and Renata? Like, you have to take them by surprise.
That is the only way. That or Insanity finds an insane flank and bursts down Yon, so he's forced out of the fight early. It seems really difficult to get on top of Yon. He is level 12 at the moment too. He is nearly the highest level on his team. Only Bradley and Harry just one level above him, and that's the play I was talking about. That's what Insanity has to do in order to make sure they can at least take Yon out of a fight.
Oh. Yeah, Insanity is kind of poking around, right? But that's the thing that we're going to have to be looking for. Insanity and XU, the players who have most of the agency at this point for Dignitas. Insanity needs to find these flanks, but he's not quite going to have the damage just quite yet to take people down.
But he's going to get a good amount of damage back onto Ayla and Yon.
XU.
They try to see if they can fight, but look at Insanity.
XU.
Look at his positioning, and XU's got a great flank. Look at that! That Cyclone splitting up the members of Team Liquid with that hostile takeover, hitting all 4 members, but they are the ones losing the members. They had a great initiation, but what is happening? And it's all going south for the side of Dignitas. They started off so well, and it's crumbled around them. The patience of Team Liquid cleanly aces the floor with Dignitas.
How many times are Team Liquid going to get away with so little HP, Magical? It happens every single series. Multiple members limp away with hardly any HP, but it's enough to start looking for the Baron. Dignitas had everything they could ask for to make that team fight work, but Team Liquid, I guess they're just better, right? They just outplay everything.
It's the patience, it's the spacing created. Even if they're split up in the fight, they know how to play to the max with each one of their champions. And when we look at this replay, you gotta just wonder how it went south, because XU, this flank is immaculate.
This flank is incredible. The hostile takeover hits 3 people. It's brothers hitting brothers, like Mazel likes to say. They get the knockup. They get everything. Armeo, Yon, and Ayla can't participate, but Harry is a rock. He prevents the members of Spawn and JJ from getting in, and he doesn't even go down. He's gotten so strong. He's able to stand in the middle, because the target selection becomes confused. Despite all of Team Liquid hitting each other, there is not enough damage left on XU because Harry creates the space necessary.
Big plays from Harry, really stepping up in these past few days and seeing how he plays on this Victor. That space that he created there, like you talked about, Joshi, immaculate. Making sure that split up the fight that had been split up by XU before them. They can attempt this play again. They kind of have to try to attempt this play. Otherwise, they're just looking at their turrets falling. Insanity's got a flank, and he's looking for Harry instead of looking for Yon. He flashed away. They've got the chains connected. They've already lost Renata Glass, and Harry still survives. They cannot kill these members of Team Liquid. They always get out alive, and they take them into the dirt. They get these kills. They split up everyone on Dignitas as Bradley was fighting all the way inside of the base. He will finally fall, but it's all worthwhile when they still remain with the Baron buff.
Look, as a Dignitas fan, right, I'm a Team Liquid fan, but I'm a Dignitas fan, it is so demoralizing as a player in these situations, right? You have to look at people who still have the wherewithal to continue looking for these fights, and so for that reason, XU Insanity, so much respect for the fact that they are still looking for flanks. They are still looking for ways back into this game when it seems hopeless. 10,000 gold lead at this point. Team Liquid breaking open the base, and while it's not the 21-minute victory that Team Liquid had last game, it feels like another inexorable march towards Team Liquid winning.
It feels like we're just watching the same gameplay as yesterday. Game 1, they smashed it. Game 2, a bit closer between the two squads, but always Team Liquid favored. Always them, the ones in control, and making sure that even if Dignitas... Oh, and how many Scuttle Crabs, how many Jungle Caps have been taken away from XU? He's burning to the Chaos Storm and Leandries. Here he's got the laser pointer, and he is on a rampage.
It's just a tragedy for Dignitas fans at this point. You know, I feel like they had a lot of tools ready to go. The York counterpick to the Olaf was really cool. They found some good opportunities to try and punish Bradley. He's 0-3. They found a advantage in bottom lane, right? Spawn was winning a lot of the interactions in both Game 1 and Game 2 early on, right? There's a reason why we praise Spawn and JJ as one of the better bottom lanes that we have in Academy. But it's not enough. You need a team of full 5 members that are going to be challenging Team Liquid the entire time, and unfortunately today Dignitas was not that.
Well, to me, it's just the team cohesion from Team Liquid. The calls they make together, all looking for flanks like this, where they catch JJ. The bailout is now gone. Harry looks like he's got out, and he's got his own bailout brought to him by Armeo to keep him alive, and they re-engage, finding these picks, looking for XU. The resets there from Armeo as he takes down the Monkey King, and Insanity takes one back, but look at what Yon's been doing this entire time, Joshi. He's been looking to end the game.
It's a 4v5 that Team Liquid were able to win, but they're the ones who come out on top, and Yon, he's just able to look for the base. He's trying to find Spawn.
Oh, to find him, they're killing him.
They got him.
Inside of their fountain, Harry even tanks up the fountain for some time, even getting all that damage onto JJ, so Game 2 victory. Another sweep, cleanly done by Team Liquid Academy. There's a reason I said my hot take was they are in the top 4 of LCS, Joshi, is because they are so dominant here in Academy. No one seems to be able to touch them.
Absolutely crazy stuff coming through, right? And, you know, can you feel it a little bit while I was like, yeah, we can kind of discard that CLG game that they played from memory because it felt so uncharacteristic.
I know, but I want close games.
You have to remember it. You have to remember that it happened, right? CLG didn't just beat Team Liquid, they wiped the floor with them. But this is the Team Liquid that we're starting to get used to. Spawn said earlier, in and out in under an hour of gameplay, we do it again.
And they do it so well. It's hard to argue with them being the top team in the academy circuit. Looking at proving grounds too, they are looking pretty keen to be able to take that title yet again. For now, we're gonna toss a break. When we come back, Sierra, our host, will be here for an interview. So make sure you stay tuned.
That hot summer's right around the corner. But before we get to that heat, let's take one last look at Proving Grounds Spring, shall we? Now, Bucio's got a little bit of an ambush going on. The Guardians have been duped. They're going, what is this? This is flabbergasted. Wait, no, I can't watch. I can't watch. Please go to the next one. Now, what do we got here? Looks like the thieves have rounded up the horses, but, you know, there's no honor among thieves, and well, the brothers are killing brothers. This is despicable. Yep, that's Jimmy. Turtle the Kid's gonna come to town. 100 Thieves ain't got nothing to say about it. He's wheeling and dealing, gunning and running. But wait, hold on. You've got Sheriff Bucio and Deputy Jimmy to come save the day too. Turtle the Kid's got friends. Bandits ain't got friends. I've seen good, I've seen bad, but that was ugly. Now, what the thieves gotten themselves up to this time? By golly, that's a Texan bullworm! You can tell by the purple scales, the little tentacly thing coming out of his head, and all the eyes as well. That really gives it away. Now, let's see what they got. Wait, Armeo's coming over the wall with a lasso. He's gonna wrangle that son of a gun. They're running off into the sunset together. That was a nice refresher from spring. Hope to see y'all in summer on the range. Now, where's my sweet tea?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm here with the Verizon post-game interview, sitting down with Armeo after a really strong 2-0 victory over Dignitas. absolutely phenomenal gameplay from you and the rest of the team today. What's the secret sauce? Why is everyone so cracked?
I think we're just all playing well individually. I mean, I have to say, game 2, what I did in the early game was really terrible. So it was so bad when I flashed top. But everyone else playing well. You know, I didn't have a good game 2. But overall, I think we're just playing very well individually, and we're just fighting a lot in mid game when we're strong, and it's leading to very fast victories. I guess in game 1, it was like insanely fast.
Yeah, and I think 18-0 in terms of deaths is really, really strong overall. At this point, what do you think it's going to take for a team to take you guys down? Obviously, you're not lossless. You did take a loss last week, but everyone's looking stronger every game, and it kind of looks like it's going to continue that way.
Yeah, I think if everyone's performing like pretty well, like on our team, and if I'm playing consistently, because I've had definitely a few bad games, like the series against CLG, I was playing so bad. I think if I can like clean up my performances, we'll be pretty unbeatable, especially when it comes to like the proving ground matches when they're best ofs. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about the competition. Don't think it's much different from last split.
Okay, so no one can really compete if you and everyone else is just on your game. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Awesome. I like it. I like it. So this match that you had going on today too, you got to play up against Insanity, who you got to play with previously. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, I mean Insanity, just he's a good player. I think he's very solid. Every time I see him in Champs Queue, he's always playing Vel'Koz, and he's not always playing Vel'Koz, but that champ is just OP. So I was like, guys, we need a ban. It's not actually what happened, but we did free ban his Vel'Koz. He has like some pocket picks, so I think he's a very solid player, and like he's always a player to look out for. You know, he came surprised he was like not even academy earlier, like after being an amateur for a bit. So yeah.
All right, and then I want to ask about the background here that we have for the interview. I know this is complete 180 from what we're going on, but what's happening with this background? There's a couple of interesting things.
I just got put here to do this interview. I cannot answer. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I did just get put here, and I have this crown on my head. Take that off.
Wait,
yeah, I mean,
your crown?
there's some. Yeah, my manager put it on my head, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's the Honda hype right now. You know, we got the Honda partnership, so there's some things under wraps. So we're in this this interview room for that. We can't be like in the main area. Yeah, because Honda's they're giving us a lot of stuff. You know, it's gonna be crazy.
Exciting stuff. I want to go back to the crown though. I know your manager is putting it on your head. You're saying that you had a mistake earlier on in the game. If you had to give that crown to anyone on your team, who would it be?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'll give it to two people. Yeah. Top and support are weak roles, obviously, so we can't give the crown to them. So I'll give it to mid and AD carry, Jan and Harry. They had a really good game too. Like Harry was smurfing. Jan, you know, obviously just always team fighting and having a million damage in the game. You know, Bradley, he had a death early game. I don't know what happened up there. It obviously was not my fault, so that's just top go.
Wow, fighting words. Okay, I see you. Any other hot takes that you just want to get out of the way here, since we're sitting some facts?
Honda's the best. Team Liquid Honda. Woo.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if that one's a hot take, but we'll let you have it. Before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to say to anyone watching out there? I
think we're lagging a little bit. Okay, I'm good now. Thanks to all the fans who support us. Yeah, I'm good now. Fans who support us, you know, I think obviously our players are going to be like having bright futures and stuff, and we're making sure to clean up the split, you know, play well. We're going to be playing like pretty fast, so there'll be some losses on the way, but I think we're going to be winning proving grounds again.
Can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.